When it comes to installing a solar system on your home, there are a number of promises about amazing long-term savings. These largely come in the form of low monthly power bills after an initially steep investment. Now, before you decide whether or not to purchase solar panels for your home, it's important to keep in mind when their expected solar panels payback period will commence. That being the amount of time it will take to see returns on your investment. Think of it this way. A solar payback period is when your utility savings accumulate enough to overtake the initial investment you made. It's when you can start to say they are paying for themselves. Of course, there are many factors that go into calculating solar payback periods. These do include installation costs, current interest rates, if you're taking out a loan to purchase them, what applicable tax credits or rebates exist in your area, and the actual energy bill savings. The cost will depend on where you live. So what's the average period to expect in the US? On average, the solar panel payback period is in the 8 to 12 year range, depending on the home. For some homeowners, it may commence as soon as 5 years. For others, it may unfortunately be as long as 15 years. Local electricity costs and state-specific incentives, tax credits, solar rebates, or net metering programs are hugely influential factors. So what's considered a good solar panel payback period? One method to determine whether a homeowner is receiving a respectable financial return on their solar energy investment is to consider the lifespan of the system. Home solar systems typically last between 25 to 30 years. If your payback period is determined to be 8 to 10 years, a homeowner can expect to be making money on the system within 17 to 25 years. Many industry experts will say that if a solar panel payback period is less than half the life of the system, it represents a solid financial investment. Another factor to remember is the IRR, internal rate of return. This is when you consider whether instead of investing in solar power, you placed your money into another more traditional financial investment. Would that investment have performed enough to be considered more financially beneficial than in a solar system for your home? Depending on your investment strategies, solar panel installation will often offer a better ROI than other portfolio additions. The annual return on investment percentage over the 30-year lifespan of installed solar panels is around 14.3%. This is much higher than the average ROI on stocks. More on that to come. How do I calculate my solar panel payback period? As with most financial calculations that are home-related, there are several factors to consider when you calculate an estimated solar panel payback time. These include your electricity bill payments on average, the total cost of the home solar system you want to install, and how much you'll get with state and local rebates, as well as the federal solar investment tax credit. While it is tricky to determine a homeowner's exact solar panel payback period, getting a quote from a solar panel installer allows you to get a somewhat accurate estimate. Here's how you can do that. Number 1, get a quote for your total solar panel system cost. Talk with a local installer to determine a gross upfront cost. The size of the system, as well as the type of equipment you need and add-ons like solar battery storage, will play a factor in the quote. Number 2, determine the federal tax credit and any other local rebates or credits you would be entitled to. These can dramatically reduce your solar expenses. The federal tax credit enables you to deduct 26% of the total installation cost on your tax return. Don't forget about solar renewable energy certificates, SRECs, from net metering programs. Number 3, if you are taking out a loan for solar panels, factor in any fees, interest, and additional costs. Number 4, determine your average annual electricity consumption and bill totals to see how much you'll save on energy by switching. Solar installers do their best to create a system that matches a home's electrical usage, but it's not exact. Number 5, factor in the rate of increase. In calculating the cost of electricity, remember that local rates will increase over time. You can always contact your utility provider and ask about future increases or estimate future rate increases based on trends from your previous bills. Number 6, divide the total cost of the system, including financial incentives, by the annual amount you'll save on electricity bills. This will provide an estimate of how many years it will take for you to recoup your initial outlay. After that, every month that you run your solar system can be counted as money made. For example, let's say a home's annual total electric bill comes to $2,000. A solar panel system, fully installed, options included for that home is $25,000. The cost would actually be $18,500 after applying the 26% tax credit. On average, a home system for US residents is 8.4 kilowatts in size. With a price per watt of 3.0, the break-even point, without factoring in inflation, would be in just over 9 years. The solar panel system is designed to last around 30 years, so that's 21 years of profit being made, which should be around $41.5 thousand. If year-to-year inflation is around 3%, and we know it's much higher at the moment but unlikely to remain that way, the actual return on investment would be just under $80,000. That's quite substantial, and considering that's based on a 3% inflation rate, it would likely be much higher than that. In fact, if we use the current 7% figure, the ROI over 30 years would be over $180,000. Further good news for potential solar panel buyers is that the technology of the panels is only getting better, and they are estimated to soon last longer than 30 years. To really understand how inflation compounds over time, imagine that you are paying $2,000 annually, or roughly $168 per month. In 30 years, at a 3% inflation rate, you will be paying $4,854.52 annually, or $404.50 per month, consuming the same amount of electricity. Still can't believe it? Well, check out the inflation of retail gasoline prices, a subject that's very prevalent right now. In March of 1994, it was $1.008 per gallon. Now, in March 2022, the average is $4.322 per gallon. Inflation is real. To summarize, installing solar panels is likely to not only be an extremely secure investment, but will likely outperform investments in stocks many times over. And once you get to your break-even point, homes with solar panels are literally sitting under a pot of gold. Thanks very much for checking this out. We'll see you next time.